The sting of her hand across my face still burned when she held out her palm and said those words that would change everything. "Give me the keys, Mom. This house is mine now." Wait. Before I tell you what happened next, you need to know how I got here. Because what my daughter-in-law did to me that day wasn't just about keys. It was about 20 years of love, trust, and secrets that nobody saw coming. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why I'm sitting here today with tears in my eyes, but also why I've never felt more free. My name is Sarah, and 3 days ago, I thought I knew my family. I thought I knew my son Michael. I thought I knew the woman he married, Lisa. I was wrong about everything. Let me start from the beginning, because this story goes way back. 23 years back, to be exact. To the day I held my newborn son in my arms and promised him I would give him the world. My husband David and I weren't rich people. We both worked double shifts just to buy our little house on Maple Street. David worked at the factory, and I cleaned offices at night. But we had dreams. Big dreams for our baby boy. When Michael turned 5, David got sick. Real sick. The kind of sick that takes everything from you. Your strength, your savings, your hope. I watched the strongest man I knew become a shadow of himself. The medical bills piled up like snow in winter. Deep and heavy and cold. We lost our car first. Then David lost his job. The bank started calling about the house. I remember one night, David was sleeping, and I was sitting at our kitchen table with a pile of bills and $17 in my purse. I looked around our little house, the house where Michael took his first steps, where we had Christmas mornings and birthday parties. That night, I made a choice that would haunt me for 20 years. I started working 3 jobs. Cleaning offices at night, washing dishes at a diner during lunch, and taking care of old Mrs. Henderson on weekends. I barely slept. I barely ate. But I kept our house. David never got better. He passed away when Michael was 8 years old. Just me and my boy against the world. Michael was everything to me. Smart as a whip, kind heart, gentle soul. He got good grades, played baseball, helped me around the house. He never complained when I couldn't afford the fancy shoes the other kids had. Never complained when dinner was just mac and cheese again. When he graduated high school, he got a scholarship to college. I cried so hard at his graduation, I couldn't see him walk across the stage. My boy was going to have the life I never could give him. That's when I met Lisa. She was beautiful. Long blonde hair, perfect smile, came from a good family with money. When Michael brought her home for the first time, she hugged me tight and called me Mom right away. "Mrs. Johnson," she said, "Michael talks about you all the time. You raised an amazing man." I loved her instantly. They dated all through college. She would come over for Sunday dinners, help me in the kitchen, listen to my stories about Michael when he was little. She felt like the daughter I never had. When they got engaged, Lisa came to me with tears in her eyes. "Mom," she said, she had been calling me Mom for 2 years by then, "I need to ask you something important. Michael and I want to start our lives together, but we can't afford a place of our own. Would it be okay if we lived here with you for a while? Just until we save up enough money." My heart swelled up like a balloon. Having them both in my house, being a family together, it sounded like heaven. "Of course, sweetheart," I said. "This house is big enough for all of us. You're family now." So they moved in after the wedding. Lisa quit her part-time job to focus on starting a family, she said. Michael got a good job at an insurance company. Everything seemed perfect. But perfect doesn't last long in real life. At first, the changes were small. Lisa would rearrange things in the kitchen. She said it was more organized her way. She wanted to paint the living room a different color. She said the old color was too dark. I didn't mind. I wanted her to feel at home. Then she started making comments about the furniture. "This couch is so old, Mom. When Michael gets his promotion, we should get a new one." Or, "The carpet in the bedroom really needs to go. It's not very clean looking." I started feeling like a guest in my own house. Michael worked long hours, so he didn't see most of it. When he was home, Lisa was sweet as pie to me. But when it was just us two during the day, she was different. She would order food and not offer me any. She would have her friends over and introduce me as Michael's mother, instead of just Mom. She started locking the door to their bedroom. But the worst part was how she talked to me. Like I was stupid. Like I was in the way. Mom, you don't need to cook dinner tonight. I already ordered pizza for me and Michael. There's some leftover soup in the fridge for you. Mom, could you maybe watch TV in your room tonight? Michael and I want to have some alone time in the living room. Mom, I'm redecorating the guest bathroom. You know, the one you use. I picked out some new towels. I hope you don't mind, but I threw out your old ones. They were pretty worn. She threw out the towels my mother gave me as a wedding gift. 25 years I had those towels. I tried talking to Michael about it, but every time I brought up Lisa, he got defensive. Mom, she's just trying to make the house nice for all of us. She loves you. Maybe you're being a little sensitive. A little sensitive. Those words cut deeper than Lisa's comments. This went on for 2 years. 2 long years of feeling unwanted in my own home. But I loved my son, and I loved the idea of the family we could be. So I stayed quiet. Then Lisa got pregnant. You would have thought the sun itself moved into our house. Michael was over the moon. Lisa glowed like an angel. And me. I was going to be a grandma. Mom, Lisa said to me one morning, her hand on her growing belly. This baby is going to be so lucky to have you as a grandma. You're going to spoil this little one rotten. For a few months, things got better between us. Lisa seemed softer, kinder. She would ask me to feel the baby kick. She would talk about baby names and ask my opinion. I started believing we could really be a family. But then something changed after she had the baby. Something I should have seen coming but was too blind with love to notice. Little Emma was perfect. 10 tiny fingers, 10 tiny toes, and the most beautiful eyes I'd ever seen. I fell in love with her the second I held her. But Lisa didn't want me to help with the baby. Thanks, Mom, but I've got it handled, she would say when I offered to feed Emma or change her diaper. Michael and I want to do this ourselves. We need to bond with our daughter. Our daughter. Like I wasn't part of the family. I would hear Emma crying in the middle of the night, and I would get up to help, but Lisa would already be there, shooting me looks like I was intruding. During the day, when Michael was at work, Lisa would take Emma and disappear for hours. Shopping, she said. Visiting her mother. Doctor appointments. I barely got to see my granddaughter in my own house. One day, I couldn't take it anymore. I knocked on Lisa's bedroom door while she was feeding Emma. Lisa, honey, can we talk? She looked up at me with tired eyes. What's wrong, Mom? I feel like I'm not part of Emma's life. I know you're her mother, and I respect that. But I'm her grandmother. I love her so much, and I just want to help. Lisa was quiet for a long time. Then she smiled, but it wasn't a warm smile. It was the kind of smile that made my stomach hurt. Mom, I think maybe you're trying too hard. Emma has parents. She doesn't need a third parent confusing things. I don't want to be her parent, Lisa. I just want to be her grandma. Well, maybe you could be her grandma without being so present all the time. Present. In my own house. That night, I cried myself to sleep for the first time since David died. But it got worse. Lisa started making rules about Emma. I couldn't pick her up without asking first. I couldn't give her a bottle. I couldn't take her outside. I couldn't buy her toys without checking with Lisa first. I felt like a stranger watching my own granddaughter grow up through a window. Michael didn't see any of it. When he was home, Lisa would hand Emma to me and smile. Here, Grandma, want to hold her? But the second Michael left the room, she would take Emma back. This went on for months. I was miserable, but I didn't know what to do. This was my house, but it didn't feel like my home anymore. Then came the day that changed everything. I was in the kitchen making lunch when I heard Lisa on the phone in the living room. She was talking loud, and I couldn't help but overhear. "No, Mom, it's going to work perfectly. She's so lonely and desperate for family, she'll do anything to keep us here." I froze. She was talking about me. The house is in her name, but she's old and trusting. Once we get the deed transferred, we can do whatever we want with the place. Michael doesn't even know about the plan yet. My blood turned to ice water. What? No, I'm not worried about her fighting it. She's been letting me walk all over her for 3 years. She's weak. And she loves Emma too much to risk losing us. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I just stood there holding a sandwich that I would never eat. "Yes, I already talked to your lawyer friend. He said the easiest way is to convince her that the house would be better in Michael's name for tax purposes. Then we can take out loans against it, fix it up, and sell it. With housing prices what they are now, we could make enough to buy a really nice place across town." Across town. Away from me. She'll probably even thank us for taking the burden of homeownership off her shoulders. Then she can move into one of those nice senior communities. Senior communities. At 52 years old. I set down the sandwich and walked quietly to my bedroom. I closed the door and sat on my bed, shaking. Everything made sense now. The kindness when she first met me. The wanting to move in. The pulling away once they were settled. The control over Emma. It was all a lie. All of it. But I had to be smart. I had to think. Lisa was right about one thing. I had been weak. I had let her take over my house, my life, my relationship with my son and granddaughter. But she was wrong about something else. I wasn't that same scared young mother who worked 3 jobs to keep her house anymore. I was older now. Maybe wiser. I decided to wait and see what happened next. I didn't have to wait long. The next evening, Michael came home from work with papers in his hand. "Mom, can we all sit down and talk about something?" My heart was beating so fast I thought it might jump out of my chest. But I smiled and said, "Of course, sweetheart." We sat in the living room. Lisa was holding Emma, and she looked nervous. Michael looked uncomfortable. "Mom, Lisa and I have been talking about the future. About what's best for our family." I nodded and waited. "We think it might be a good idea to put the house in my name. For tax reasons. Lisa's friend knows a lawyer who says we could save a lot of money every year." There it was. The trap, set and ready to snap shut on me. I looked at Lisa. She was staring at me with those cold eyes, waiting to see if I would take the bait. "What kind of tax reasons?" I asked quietly. Michael shifted in his seat. "Well, you know, inheritance taxes and stuff like that. If something happened to you, I would have to pay a lot of money to the government. But if the house is already in my name, we wouldn't have to worry about that. If something happened to me, like I was already dead, and where would I live?" I asked. Lisa spoke up for the first time. "Well, Mom, we've been thinking about that too. There are some really nice senior living places around here. You'd have your own little apartment, and there would be people your age to spend time with. You wouldn't have to worry about maintaining this big house anymore." Senior living. At 52. I looked at my son. My baby boy. The child I had worked 3 jobs to support. The man I had sacrificed everything for. "Michael, is this what you want?" He couldn't look me in the eye. "Mom, I just want what's best for everyone. You've worked so hard your whole life. Maybe it's time for you to relax and let us take care of things." Let them take care of things. Like I was a burden that needed to be managed. I felt something break inside me. Not my heart, that had been breaking slowly for 3 years. Something else. Something that had been holding me back, keeping me quiet, making me small. My pride. My strength. The part of me that had fought to keep this house when David was sick. The part of me that had raised a good man all by myself. I need some time to think about it, I said. Lisa's smile faltered a little. Well, don't take too long, Mom. The lawyer said the sooner we do this, the better. That night, I didn't sleep at all. I sat in my kitchen, the same kitchen where I had made the choice to fight for this house 20 years ago, and I made another choice. I wasn't going to let them steal my life. The next morning, I called my own lawyer. A nice woman named Janet who had helped me with David's will years ago. Sarah, I'm so glad you called me before signing anything, she said after I told her the whole story. What they're asking you to do would essentially make you homeless with no legal rights to the property you've owned for over 20 years. Can they force me to do it? Absolutely not. And Sarah, I hate to tell you this, but what you're describing sounds like elder abuse. Financial manipulation. Elder abuse. I was 52 years old, not 92. But I guess to Lisa, anyone older than her was ancient. Janet helped me understand my rights. The house was mine, free and clear. I had paid off the mortgage years ago. Nobody could take it from me unless I willingly signed it away. What do you want to do, Sarah? Janet asked. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. But first, I needed to find out just how deep this betrayal went. I decided to do some investigating of my own. That afternoon, while Michael was at work and Lisa was napping with Emma, I went through the papers Michael had brought home. At the bottom of the stack was a business card for a real estate agent. I called the number. Hello, this is Mike Thompson with Thompson Real Estate. Hi, this is Sarah Johnson. I think you've been talking to my daughter-in-law, Lisa Johnson, about selling my house. There was a pause. Oh, yes, Mrs. Johnson. Lisa said you were excited to downsize and move into a retirement community. She said you wanted to sell as soon as possible. My hands were shaking, but my voice stayed steady. What did she tell you about the timeline? Well, she said once the deed was transferred to her husband, you'd be looking to list within the month. She seemed to think the house would sell quickly in this market. Probably around $400,000, given the location and condition. $400,000. My house was worth $400,000. And where did she say I was moving? Someplace called Sunset Manor. She said you'd already put down a deposit. Sunset Manor. I knew that place. It was the cheapest senior center in town. The place where people went when their families didn't want to take care of them anymore. Thank you, I said and hung up. I sat there for a long time, holding that business card. My son and his wife were planning to steal my house, sell it for $400,000, and stick me in the cheapest old folks' home they could find. And Michael, my baby boy, was part of it. That night at dinner, Lisa brought up the house transfer again. Mom, did you think about what we discussed yesterday? The lawyer said he could meet with us this weekend. I looked at her sweet face, her innocent eyes, her loving smile. All fake. All lies. I did think about it, I said. But I have some questions first. Michael perked up. What kind of questions? Well, if I sign the house over to you, what happens to me if you decide to sell it? Lisa and Michael exchanged a look. A quick, guilty look that they thought I didn't catch. Mom, why would we sell your house? Michael said. This is our home. I'm just wondering, hypothetically, if you did decide to sell, would I get any of the money? Another look between them. Mom, let's cross that bridge when we come to it, Lisa said. Right now, we just need to worry about the tax situation. But I wasn't done. And this senior living place you mentioned, how much does it cost? Not much, Lisa said quickly. It's very affordable. How much exactly? Lisa looked uncomfortable. I don't remember the exact number. What's the name of the place? I don't remember that either. I just remember it was nice. She remembered the real estate agent's number, but she couldn't remember the name of the place where she wanted to send me to live. I smiled at her. The same fake smile she had been giving me for 3 years. Well, I guess I need to do some research of my own before I make such a big decision. Lisa's face went white. Research. Yes, call some lawyers, look at some senior living places, get some second opinions. This is a big step, and I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. Michael looked relieved. That's a good idea, Mom. You should be comfortable with your decision. But Lisa looked like she might be sick. How long do you think that research will take? Oh, I don't know. A few weeks. Maybe a month or 2. A month or 2. Lisa's voice went up an octave. But the lawyer said we needed to move fast for the tax benefits. What's the rush? I asked innocently. If it's such a good idea now, it'll be a good idea in a couple of months, right? That night, I heard Lisa and Michael arguing in their bedroom. I couldn't make out all the words, but I heard my name several times, and Lisa's voice was angry. Over the next few days, Lisa became more and more aggressive about the house transfer. Mom, I really think you're overthinking this. Michael's friend at work did the same thing with his mother, and it worked out great. Mom, I called the lawyer, and he said the longer we wait, the more money we'll lose in taxes. Mom, I found the perfect place for you to live. It's like a resort. You'll love it. But I wasn't budging. Every day, I told her I needed more time to think. And every day, I watched her get more desperate. Then came the day she showed her true colors completely. I was in the kitchen making breakfast when Lisa stormed in, holding Emma. I'm tired of this, Sarah. She called me Sarah. Not Mom. Tired of what, Lisa? This act. This pretending like you don't understand what needs to happen here. I'm not pretending anything. I'm just trying to make the right decision. The right decision is to sign over this house so Michael and I can build our future. You've lived your life already. It's our turn now. I stared at her. My life. Lisa, I'm 52 years old. You're old enough to know when you're not wanted anymore. There it was. The truth, finally out in the open. Not wanted by who? I asked quietly. By us. By your son. By your granddaughter. She held Emma closer, like she was a weapon. Emma doesn't need a confused old woman hanging around, getting in the way. She needs space to grow up in a normal family. I'm her grandmother. You're a stranger who lives in our house. And that's the problem, isn't it? You think this is your house, but it's not. Not really. This house belongs to Michael's family now. You're just leftover from before. Leftover. Like cold food nobody wanted to eat. Lisa, I think you need to calm down. I'm calm, she said, but her face was red and her hands were shaking. I'm calm, and I'm done playing games. You're going to sign those papers, or we're going to make your life so miserable that you'll beg us to let you leave. Are you threatening me? I'm promising you. Sign the papers, take your little nest egg, and go live somewhere appropriate for a woman your age. Or we will make you sorry. I looked at this woman I had thought of as a daughter for 5 years. This woman I had welcomed into my home, my family, my heart. What does Michael know about this? I asked. Lisa laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Michael knows exactly what he needs to know. He knows his wife is trying to secure his family's future. He knows his mother is being difficult and selfish. And he knows which side he's going to choose. And if I don't sign the papers? Then you'll lose everything anyway. Your son, your granddaughter, your place in this family. We'll move out, and you'll be alone in this big empty house with nobody to visit you, nobody to care if you live or die. Is that what you want? She was right about one thing. If they left, I would be alone. But I had been alone before. I had survived David's death alone. I had raised Michael alone. I had built this life alone. Maybe alone wasn't the worst thing in the world. I need to think about it, I said. Lisa's face got even redder. You need to stop thinking and start acting. This family doesn't have time for your selfishness anymore. She turned to walk away, but then she stopped and looked back at me. One way or another, Sarah, this house is going to be ours. You can make it easy on yourself, or you can make it hard. But it's going to happen. That night, Michael came home late from work. He looked tired and stressed. Mom, can we talk? We sat in the living room, just like we had a week ago when he first brought up the house transfer. But everything felt different now. Lisa says you're having second thoughts about the house. I'm just trying to be careful, Michael. This is a big decision. He rubbed his face with his hands. Mom, I need you to understand something. Lisa and I are struggling. My job is good, but it's not great. We're trying to save money for Emma's future, but it's hard with all the expenses. What expenses? Just life, Mom. Food, clothes, medical bills, everything. It would really help us if we could get some of the equity out of this house. There it was. They didn't just want my house. They wanted to borrow money against it. Michael, if you need money, we can talk about that. But signing over my house seems like a big step just to get a loan. It's not just about a loan, Mom. It's about us being a real family. All living together, sharing everything, building something together. We already are a real family. But not legally. Not officially. If something happened to you tomorrow, this house would go through probate, and it would be a mess. If it's in my name, everything would be simpler. Michael, do you want me to die? What? No. Mom, how can you ask that? Because you keep talking about what would happen if I died. I'm 52 years old. I'm healthy. I'm not planning on dying anytime soon. He was quiet for a long time. Mom, I just want what's best for everyone. What's best for me, or what's best for Lisa? They're the same thing. Are they? Michael looked at me with confusion in his eyes. What do you mean? I mean, what does Lisa want? Really want? She wants us to be happy. She wants Emma to have a good life. She wants security. And what do you want? I want my family to be together and happy. All of your family? Or just part of it? Michael stood up suddenly. Mom, I don't understand why you're making this so complicated. It's a simple business transaction that would help all of us. Help all of us how? How does it help me? It helps you because you won't have to worry about the house anymore. You won't have to pay taxes or insurance or maintenance. You'll be free. Free. Like a bird kicked out of its nest. Michael, this house is all I have. It's my security, my independence, my legacy to you. If I sign it over to you, I have nothing left. You'll have us. Will I? Really? Michael looked hurt. Of course you will. You're my mother. I love you. But Lisa doesn't want me here. That's not true. Isn't it? Michael sat back down heavily. Mom, Lisa is just protective of our family. She wants what's best for Emma. And I'm not what's best for Emma? That's not what I said. But it's what Lisa thinks. Michael was quiet. Michael, answer me honestly. If I sign over this house, how long before Lisa decides I should move out? Mom, that's not going to happen. How do you know? Because I won't let it happen. But Lisa makes a lot of decisions in this house, doesn't she? Michael looked uncomfortable. We make decisions together. Like the decision to ask me to sign over my house? Yes. Whose idea was it originally? Michael was quiet for a long time. Does it matter? It matters to me. It was Lisa's idea. But I agreed with it. Why? Because I trust her judgment. She's smart about money and legal stuff. Smarter than your mother? That's not what I meant. But it was what he meant. I could see it in his eyes. That night, I made another decision. I was done being patient. I was done being understanding. I was done being weak. The next morning, while Michael was at work and Lisa was out with Emma, I called Janet. I want to set up a meeting, I told her. I want to make sure my legal rights are protected, and I want to explore my options. What kind of options? If I decide I don't want Michael and Lisa living in my house anymore, what would I need to do? Janet was quiet for a moment. Sarah, are you asking about eviction? I'm asking about my rights as a homeowner. Well, since they're not paying rent and they don't have a lease, you would have the right to ask them to leave. You would need to give them proper notice, usually 30 days. And if they refuse to leave? Then you could pursue legal eviction through the courts. How long would that take? A few months, depending on the circumstances. A few months of Lisa's threats and Michael's disappointment. A few months of feeling like a stranger in my own home. Is there another option? What do you mean? I mean, what if I just left? Left. Sold the house and moved somewhere else. You could certainly do that. It's your house. You can do whatever you want with it. Even if Michael and Lisa object. Sarah, they have no legal standing to object to anything you do with your own property. That afternoon, I called Mike Thompson, the real estate agent Lisa had contacted. Mr. Thompson, this is Sarah Johnson again. I'd like to set up a meeting to discuss selling my house. Oh, wonderful. Lisa said you might come around to the idea. Actually, Lisa doesn't know I'm calling you. And I'd prefer to keep it that way for now. Oh, okay. Is there a problem? Let's just say the family dynamics are more complicated than Lisa led you to believe. We set up a meeting for the next day while Lisa and Michael would be out. That night at dinner, I made an announcement. I've made a decision about the house. Lisa and Michael both looked up with hope in their eyes. I've decided that I'm not going to sign the deed over to anyone. Lisa's face went white. Michael looked confused. But Mom, we talked about this. Yes, we did. And I've decided that I'm not comfortable with it. Lisa slammed her hand on the table. This is ridiculous. You're being selfish and stubborn. I'm being careful with my future. Your future? Lisa laughed bitterly. You don't have a future. You have a past. Lisa, that's enough, Michael said quietly. No, it's not enough. She's ruining our plans, our future, our family's security. All because she's too scared to let go of control. I looked at my son. Michael, is that how you feel? That I'm ruining your future? Michael looked between Lisa and me. I could see the war happening in his eyes. Love for his mother versus loyalty to his wife. I think maybe we need to find a compromise, he said finally. What kind of compromise? Lisa snapped. I don't know. Maybe Mom could keep the house but take out a loan against it to help us with our expenses. That's not enough, Lisa said. We need real security. We need to own something. I stood up from the table. You do own something. You own your marriage, your daughter, your future together. But you don't own me, and you don't own my house. Lisa stood up too, her face red with anger. Fine. Fine. If that's how you want to play this, then you're going to lose everything. Michael, tell her. Michael looked miserable. Tell her what? Tell her that if she doesn't sign over the house, we're leaving. All of us. Emma too. Michael's mouth fell open. Lisa, I never agreed to that. Well, I'm deciding it now. I'm not going to waste my life living with someone who doesn't care about our family's future. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. You would take Emma away from me? Emma is my daughter. Not yours. And I'll be damned if I'm going to let you poison her against her parents the way you're trying to poison Michael against me. I would never do that. You're doing it right now. You're making Michael choose between his wife and his mother. That's emotional manipulation. I'm not making Michael choose anything. I'm just choosing not to give away my house. Same thing, Lisa said. She turned to Michael. Tell her, Michael. Tell her that if she doesn't sign those papers, we're gone. Michael looked at me with pain in his eyes. Mom, please. Please don't make me choose. I'm not making you choose, sweetheart. I'm just asking you to respect my decision about my own property. But if you don't sign the papers, Lisa says we have to leave. Then that's Lisa's choice, not mine. Lisa threw her napkin on the table. Unbelievable. You would rather lose your son and granddaughter than give up this old house. I would rather not be forced to choose between my home and my family. Well, congratulations, Lisa said. You just chose the house. She stormed out of the kitchen. Michael followed her. I sat alone at my kitchen table and cried. But even through my tears, I knew I had made the right choice. I wasn't going to let them steal my life. The next morning, Lisa was different. Colder. She walked right past me like I was invisible. When Emma started crying, and I reached for her, Lisa pulled her away. Don't, she said simply. Lisa, she's my granddaughter. She's my daughter. And I decide who gets to hold her. Michael left for work without saying goodbye to me. That afternoon, I met with Mike Thompson, the real estate agent. I want to put my house on the market, I told him. Are you sure about this, Mrs. Johnson? Lisa seemed to think the family was planning to stay in the house for a long time. Plans change, I said. We talked about pricing, timing, and marketing. He thought the house could sell quickly in the current market. Where will you be moving? He asked. I'm not sure yet. Maybe somewhere smaller. Somewhere that's just mine. That evening, I called my sister Rebecca in California. We hadn't talked in months, but she was the only family I had besides Michael. Sarah. What a nice surprise. How are you doing? I started crying before I could answer. Sarah, what's wrong? What happened? I told her everything. About Lisa's manipulation, about Michael's betrayal, about the ultimatum, about my decision to sell the house. Rebecca was quiet for a long time after I finished. Sarah, I'm proud of you. For what? For losing my son and granddaughter. For standing up for yourself. For not letting them steal your life.